If you've been thinking about getting a CNC router, but not sure you should put out the money because maybe you're a little intimidated by the whole process of CNC routing, learning the software to design your projects, and maybe you don't even have any woodworking experience, I can assure you that by the time you're done with this video, those concerns will be put to rest and you will be ready to go out and get your CNC router. idcwoodcraft.com. I'm Garrett Fromme, CEO of IDC Woodcraft, the most recognized name in CNC router bits for CNC routers. This video is for you if you are someone who is looking at CNC routers but kind of afraid to dive in to spend the money because you're not sure you can do it. In this video, we're going to be talking to somebody who is in your exact shoes. His name is Joe. Joe is a police officer who is in his 50s and he's bored with his job. He's seeing that he's going to be retiring soon, and he's going through that little thing that most of us go through about this point in life where we need to grab our own thing and perhaps build a legacy, make things for other people. Just something that we can call our own. Joe was somebody who went into this space of looking for something that he could call his own. He ended up finding CNC routers, but like you, was scared to death to dive in. He'll talk about that in this video. What you're going to find, though, with Joe's sharing with you, is that he actually did get over that fear, finally took the jump, and a year later is actually making projects and doesn't feel the intimidation anymore. In fact, he has gone miles beyond what he ever thought, just like you would. So without further ado, we are going to dive in and start talking to our CNC brother, Joe, and you will see that Joe is no different from you, and like him, you can do this too. idcwoodcraft.com. And welcome to this rather interesting video where we are going to be talking to a CNC brother who got into CNC maybe a year ago. Joe got a long mill MK2 30x48 CNC router, and he was one of those guys that was looking for something and ended up landing on CNC router. And so this discussion is really about why do we get into it and what is it giving us, right? What are we going after?
Right.
And then your journey getting into it. Right? You know, that pounding your head against the wall going, I don't get this stuff.
Right.
So anyway, Joe, say hello to our CNC brothers.
Hello, brothers and sisters. This is great. I'm glad I'm here with my buddy Garrett to share some experiences that I have learned along the way with this great thing that we call CNC.
Yeah, but you got a story behind this. So first of all, right, I think the thing is, why do we start going down this path where we're looking like we want to create something, right? You wanted to create flags long before you discovered CNC.
Long before.
What was that? Why did you want to start making something in the first place?
Well, I was already in the process of doing a lot of woodworking stuff.
Okay.
Bird houses, bird feeders, just building stuff, tables, whatever it was, in my garage at the time.
Yeah.
So I was very heavily involved in that at the time. And then I started wanting to build flags, and then
like American flags,
like an American flag,
okay.
A wooden flag, and it kind of pretty much just spiraled out of control.
Something got you to finding a CNC router. What was it with the flag that?
Well, I was, like I said, I was going to start building flags, with individual strips of wood for the stripes. And what happened is then I couldn't figure out what to do about the Union and the stars.
Okay.
So after a ton of videos, I tried using the stencil with paint. That didn't work. Then I tried carving it out with a Dremel because I saw someone do that. That didn't work. It looked terrible. So after more videos, I just stumbled across a guy doing the Union, just the stars alone,
okay,
on a CNC machine. And they came out crisp and beautifully. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. Hold on. What is this? What did he just do here? And that's what happened. And then another video led to another video to another video.
Okay.
And then I stumbled upon this stuff.
Why did you want to make flags in the first place? I mean, what was the thing underneath that's like going, I got to do something else? All right. I mean, you're a cop.
Yeah, they started with blue line flags.
Okay, so you're
for my fellow officers.
So you're okay.
That's what started the whole thing.
Right. And what was inspiring that? Why did you want to make blue line flags in the first place?
Well, to support, to support law enforcement and support my fellow officers out there.
Right. But when we're younger in our younger days, we don't give a shit about that stuff, right? We don't think about it. But then we get to this point in life where we're like, I want to do something else, right? And after Joe and I had our little discussion here for you, we went out to eat breakfast. And there he said something that really resonates to the question that I've been asking. Why did you get into CNC? What's the root of the reason? First of all, as Joe will explain in a while, and has already said, he wanted to make flags. He wanted to get creative, do something for his brothers in law enforcement. But he said something else that really resonated. He said, Garrett, at the end of the day, I used to love my job. Get up, go to work, do his cop thing. He said, but it's not any fun anymore. He got bored with it, like many of us do. Our careers, we're passionate about them, but they end up running their course. And then we look for something else. And as we reach an age like this, there are other things that become kind of important too, like legacy, making memories for other people. Like Joe wanted to make the flags with the blue stripe for his law enforcement brothers and sisters. Something meaningful for other people. At the end of the day, he just got tired. And this is something that many of us go through at this age. So I think that was really important to insert this right here. Let's keep going with this talk with our brother Joe. CNC, I landed on CNC routers because I needed to get creative. I needed something that I could feel like was mine, right? And it came from like inside, because we go through life like, we got to fit in that box, right? We got to, you're a cop, so you got to follow the cop rules and shit. And sometimes I think some of us get tired of it. People, you get to a point in life where it's like, this isn't what I want to do anymore, right? I could something more for me. And so I guess that's where I'm asking, what did you run into that where you're kind of starting to feel like unsettled and there's got to be something else, your career's going to come to an end or maybe you're getting tired of the career?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't want to blame it. I don't want to blame it all, or for lack of a better word, blaming it all on that or saying that's the main reason, but that does have a lot to do with it. But I just want to make stuff.
Right.
I just want to make shit. That's all there is to it.
Why do we want to make stuff? What is it that drives us to do that?
Because it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Cool as hell to make stuff.
I find it.
Especially on these machines.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of a CNC machine. The things you can make on here are just endless. So.
What was your feeling of the day you got your machine, right? He got a long mill, which is the machine that I recommend. That's what's sitting right here. It's a robust machine for the price. You can't beat it. And it's a good size machine, the long mill 30 by 48. And that's the one I suggest to anybody who's looking to get into this. Instead of buying a $300-$400 machine, just go with something that you can play with.
Oh yeah.
And do some stuff with. And
go bigger if you can.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I got a deep dive review video on this thing. If you are interested in looking in the CNC world, then that video, I got Ultimate CNC Buyer's Guide, a video I made that walks you through everything you need to be looking for when you're researching your CNC router. I'll link that down below in this video. I suggest you go watch that if you're in the market trying to figure out what machine to get. You were there.
Sure was. And I looked at all of them.
Yeah.
I looked at all of them.
When you were shopping, what was the confusion? I mean, you're looking at them going, what the hell? How do you know what to get? What was your journey like when you were doing it?
I looked all the machines that are out there now. I looked at every single one of them. So I'd have to say, obviously, price point.
Okay.
But at the time, there were no in-depth videos on this besides yours.
All right.
There wasn't any. There wasn't any. So going to any of your videos before I bought this machine answered all my questions.
Okay.
And then also you have a video out there where you're standing on the machine and you're riding it.
I was, literally
Yes.
standing on the machine while it was running
Yeah.
and carving.
Yeah. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what
Right.
will. So there was a lot of you provided a lot of information for this machine.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember
That's
you
why.
actually called me. Joe started making contact with me. He was going, what do I get? What machine do I
Yeah.
get? And then it finally got to a point, just tell me everything I need to get. What I worry about is people when they don't know enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out and buy and they buy and they buy and they don't know what they're buying.
Right.
All right. And then you end up with stuff you're like, oh, this was a piece of crap or like router bits. When I first got into this, there was no good set of router bits, starter sets. And so I didn't know what to get.
Yeah.
And so I was just buying stuff. I still got a bunch of router bits in my toolbox over here that I bought when I first got into CNC routers. And I've never used them because I didn't know. There was nobody out there that said, this is what you need.
Yeah.
So that's how IDC Woodcraft, the CNC router bit company, got started because I got tired of that stuff. Everybody was asking, what router bits do we need? And so I put together a full set of router bits. This is what it looks like right here, what you're seeing on the screen. And I'll link more information down below in the description of this video. So anyway, so you got your machine, right? And then you got the software. Now, when you were having breakfast this morning and you said the machine didn't scare you, the software did.
Big time.
Talk about that.
The software being so unfamiliar with this, such, brand new territory.
Yeah, so we're talking design software, the stuff you actually design your projects on. Because the CNC router won't do anything until you design something.
That's right.
So go ahead.
That's right. And I never even saw that type of software before. I didn't know what it was. And like I said, one video, it's probably no different than a lot of folks that are watching this now. One video leads to another, to another, to another. And then even watching those videos, not having any experience whatsoever, thinking I have to have all this computer knowledge and all this stuff, it was very, very and very intimidating. Very.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, because the machine isn't gonna do anything unless you tell it to do it.
Right.
But the problem is that if you can't tell it to do anything, it ain't gonna do nothing anyways.
Right. Exactly.
So, but the software, I'd have to say, was my biggest fear. That scared the shit out of me.
What was the fear behind the software?
Not knowing what to do. You got all those icons when you open up a V-carve. You have everything in there. You just don't know where to start.
Joe just mentioned something called V-carve. V-carve is the design software that he uses to design his CNC router projects that ultimately will be carved out on his long mill MK2 CNC router. And it's the software that I teach on this channel. I consider Vectric V-carve the best design software out there. There's quite a few of them, but that's the one I recommend and the one that I create all the videos for you as a beginner, step-by-step videos, so that you can get used to the software. Now, here's what happens when a brand new creator who's not that computer literate or has never used design software, what they run into. And that is you open it up and you get overwhelmed. How do you get from not knowing anything and seeing all kinds of icons on the screen to a point where you have this very cool design that you can carve out on your long mill MK2 or whatever CNC router you have? That's why I create the videos that I do. In fact, the Vectric V-carve Pro, which is the one that I recommend, I have created a video for you if you have not opened up design software before and feeling a little intimidated, where it's an absolute beginner's first time opening up the Vectric software and you're going, what do I do with this? That video takes you from that point. Tells you about the landscape of the software, and I walk you through the basic design tools so that by the time you're done with the video, you will actually know how to create a very simple project. I absolutely recommend that you watch that video. I will link it down below. It's a Vectric V-carve 101 video. But at the end of the day, it really comes back to what Joe said. Most people are afraid of the software because they simply don't know what to do with it. Design software works very logically, and it's not something we can just dive into like we can take apart an engine and put it back together and just figure it out on the fly. You need to understand the process. So I really suggest that you go watch that video. Again, I will link it down below. My whole point of that video is so you can start getting comfortable with it and start understanding what the tools are there for. All right, let's get back to talking to Joe.
But that's what's great about your videos, because they stand out. You know, they stand out in front of everyone else's, though.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. It's the truth. So
okay, so here we are, a year down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You've had your long mill, you've had your train wrecks with it. I mean, you're not bad train wrecks, but just
I've derailed.
Yeah, the derailed, the learning bumps along the road.
Sure.
Right, and so now you're a year down the road, and so I've talked to Joe for what, a year and a half now, maybe two.
Yeah, it's been longer than that now.
2 years, and when he was first into this, he didn't know Adam. Squat from Adam.
Nope.
Now he's helping a company with spindles.
Yes.
Getting a spindle set up for the long mill MK2.
Yeah.
And when I get that information, then I will link that down below, or I'll create a video about it. But you're a solid year into it now. Like, you finally kind of got over that fear hurdle, because that first 6 months, it was kind of, I'm not sure, you know, you kind of lived in that, right?
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. You talk about banging your head against the wall, wanting to take your computer and literally just throw it across the room.
Yeah.
Because you just can't figure one little thing. It's like, why isn't this working? It looks good here. Why isn't it looking good when I carve it?
Yeah.
You know, and then you got to dig further into it and say you just missed something. You missed something. So. Yeah,
you said it. It's just realizing you're just missing a step. And,
yes.
And because there's a logical process you have to follow through, that if you miss that one step in that logical process, then you end up with a bad carve, or it's not going to carve, or it's going to do something like that. And this is the reason why I say you've got to get training. You've got to learn this stuff, right? It's most of us are the guys, I'll just figure it out myself. I don't need an instruction manual.
Right.
And then we dive into the software, and it's like, what the hell is this, right? And literally you need to get training. And you can watch videos on this channel, or Kyle, the guy that has Learn Your CNC.
Oh, yeah.
He's put that course together.
He sure has.
Here's my perspective on when you're diving in. We're buying, this thing cost 30 by 48, $1,700. All right, the tooling, you're going to spend another $300. Design software, that's going to cost you some money. Now invest in your knowledge, right? You got to spend the time, get the training. For some reason, a lot of people just want to they don't, that last mile. I'm the same way. I'll just figure it out, and it never works. All right, you got to.
That's not going to work with this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Right, you tried it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did. If you don't follow videos or something, it ain't happening.
Right.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
It's not.
So there's a training for the Vectric. I recommend the Vectric software. I know it. It's the best one out there, and that's why I do videos on it. So I'll have information, some videos you as a beginner need to watch if you're going to be diving into this. Now, Joe and I have been talking about the Vectric software, or just design software in general, and some of the intimidation that many brand new creators feel. And if you're brand new, you probably feel it as well, just because it's something new. And if you're not that computer savvy or haven't worked with design software, it can be a little overwhelming when you're first looking at it. So that's why I made that video, Vectric 101. But when it comes to picking out your CNC router, if you get the Long Mill MK2 or some other CNC router, that's not all you need to know about as you're doing your research. And undoubtedly, you're finding out as you are researching that there's other things you need to know about. What design software to get. You learn about control software, and then router bits, of course. I mean, when it comes down to it, the CNC router itself just moves around in an XYZ axis. but it is the router bits that actually do the carving. And you need to know about router bits as well, the different types and what they're used for, and what you should be starting with as a brand new beginner. And then there's a lot of terminology you're going to run into and a lot of other information. And that's why I put together the Kickstarter guide for you as a brand new beginner, whether you have your CNC router yet or not, or you've already purchased it as a beginner. This is going to be an invaluable resource. This is a 27-page PDF that talks about all this stuff and gives you the information that you need to get started so you're not looking in a fog. Down below in the description is a link where you can get this. You will find it extremely valuable for you in the beginning of your journey. So make sure you go down in the description and get this PDF. Let's get back to this talk with Joe. So anyway, so you started to figure out the software, right? As time went on. And then you finally got to that point, some point down the road where you made that first cut. Just the machine just cut for the first time.
Correct.
You remember that feeling?
Yes. And I know exactly what it was. I know what I was doing with it. Everything. Yeah. What happened was I was just tired. Believe it or not, I was just tired of constant practice carves. Just constant. Everything I was doing was just practice. And I know you have to do it. But in my case, after a while, I was like, okay, this is getting real boring and I'm getting a little irritated here. Let's do something. So I took a chance at it, and it was one of your files that was included with the bit set that I bought.
Starter set.
With the starter set.
We just talked about.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it was I believe it was the very first one I did was the Merry Christmas
just a little Merry
file
Christmas
that
file.
on a little 6x12 thing.
Yep.
On MDF, and I said, "Oh wow, okay," and that was a totally different feeling. And then I did your welcome sign.
Okay. So what he's talking about is so how many companies that you buy router bits from do they give you files and the feeds and speeds and all the data?
From what I'm seeing, nobody is, because that's on a lot of the what are the groups, the Facebook groups and stuff like that. People are saying, I have a bit, but what's the feeds and speeds for it?
All right.
They're like, well, contact the manufacturer. Well, they didn't get anything.
Right.
But not with IDC Woodcraft. That's not going to happen.
This thing that Joe was just saying about the feeds and speeds for CNC router bits and contacting the manufacturer to get that data, this is a big deal when it comes to getting into CNC routers. When I first got into CNC routers, I had a lot of trouble finding the proper feeds and speeds data, just knowing what that is. So first of all, what feeds and speeds are is a ratio of the RPMs that the router bit is turning relative to its motion through the wood as it's carving. This is important data because feeds and speeds set up improperly will either burn up your router bit or you can break them. So IDC Woodcraft, after I built this, I made sure that that important data was available to you. And I do it in multiple different ways. The first is when you buy the truly complete starter set from IDC Woodcraft, you get a sheet with that tells you the feeds and speeds of all the router bits that you're getting, plus a lot more. You also get a bunch of files. Joe talked about the welcome sign and the Merry Christmas sign. When you buy starter sets from IDC Woodcraft, you also get things to help you move along in your journey. So you're not just buying bits, you're buying things you can work with. But the big deal is the feeds and speeds here. There are multiple other ways that you can access them directly from IDC Woodcraft. Number one is on the IDC Woodcraft website, directly at the top of the site, is a link where it has database downloads. When you click that, there in that web page are downloads that you can import directly into your design software. And that will populate all the feeds and speeds for you at one time. Otherwise, you have to manually enter each one. So feeds and speeds is available directly off the website as a database. You will have the complete list. The second way is right on each package of CNC router bits is a QR code. And that QR code, you can scan it with your phone. That will take you directly to the product link for the product. In the description of the product that it takes you to, down at the bottom are the feeds and speeds for that particular bit. So this is directly from your phone. And the third way, and the best way, is the CNC router bit app by IDC Woodcraft for your cell phone. It's available for free for you for both your Android or Apple phone. When you get that and you start it, you can see here that there's a whole list of bits, and when you click a bit, you will go into that and it'll have a picture of the router bit, a description of the router bit, the feeds and speeds for the router bit, and there's also selections for what router you're using, the material, and you will also have the specifications for each bit. All this is important data that design software needs. So I make that directly available to you. And if you break a bit, or you need to purchase a bit, or you burn out a bit that just wears out, you can buy a replacement directly from your cell phone rather than going over to your computer and having to search it up and trying to figure out, who am I going to get this bit from, what's the best price, whatever. It's all right there on your cell phone. So that's how I've solved the feeds and speeds problem and a lot of other problems for you at the same time. And yeah, this is what pisses me off. The CNC manufacturers, when you buy a bit, that information should be there.
Of course, it should be automatic.
Feeds and speeds are the ratio of how fast that router bit's moving through the material relative to how fast it's spinning. And for every bit, it's different. And it's critical. If those feeds or speeds are off, you're going to either burn up your bit or you're going to break it, right? And it's a critical factor of your setting things up right. And on IDC Woodcraft, it's all available. When you were trying to figure out this feeds and speeds thing, right? What was like, it's going, what's this now? Right. At every level is different. First, it's like, what machine do I get? And you're beating your head against the wall. You're researching, trying to figure it out. That's why I did that deep dive video of what you're looking for in a CNC router. And then what router bits do you need? That's why I put the starter set together. Projects come with the starter set, right? You get instructions and everything, right? So when you're buying a starter set, I'm assuming you're brand new and you need something to get you kick-started. Right. And that's exactly why you get all the files with it too. So you started making those things, and then you made the welcome sign, which is, that's cool. That was one of my first full-blown projects, you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
That's in one of your that's in one of your very early videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching you since the very beginning when you were up in your apartment.
Now I got a shop here. I've got a warehouse there for all the IDC Woodcraft CNC router bits that you'll get as you need them. So, fast forward here, you've gotten comfortable with the software. There's still a lot to learn.
A lot.
It's a deep dive software.
Yes.
You're starting to understand how the machine works and how to hold your projects down. All right. And so now we can say, Joe, look back a year and look how far you've come. Right. So what would you tell someone who's sitting there going, oh my God, I have no clue what I'm doing. They're being pulled to it, but they're scared like you were.
You will get through it. You will get through it. You just gotta keep working at it. It will come. I'm telling you right now, I have no computer background, no CNC background, no nothing at all. But the videos are extremely helpful. They're out there for a reason. They're out there to guide you, and so you'll learn everything. And it's if you stick with it, it's not as daunting as it first was. I no longer look at it as my enemy.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it.
It's no longer my enemy. I think V-Carve and I are becoming friends, and there's still a lot more to go with that. But you will get through it. You will get through it, and that's you just got to keep working at it. That's all it is. You got to keep doing it. That's what it is.
Okay. So if they're on the fence, but they're just on the fence. I mean, you were on the fence.
If you remember, you and I talked about it. It took me months, literally months, before I actually pulled the trigger, before I actually did it. I'll never forget that. But the one thing, because you recommended it and I did it, was I worked with the software before I did anything.
Right.
I had the software downloaded on the laptop, So I was able to at least somehow familiarize myself a little bit with it before I actually ordered the machine.
Yeah.
But one thing I would tell people to do, and this was a very, very big help, was try to do a design while you're watching it, while you're watching a YouTube. If it's a YouTube video, one of Garrett's videos.
The house number sign.
Yeah, the house number sign.
That's a very easy project.
A very easy project. But if you don't know what you're doing, it doesn't matter how easy it is.
Right.
And what I did, this was something that really helped me out a great deal. And it's so simple. I put his video on my TV, and I sat right in front of the TV with my laptop. I was all ready to go, and I followed his every move that he made on the video. I did it right there on my laptop. If I had to go back and say, okay, what did he do? What icon did he hit? What's he talking about? I would go back, and that way I could see on the TV what he's doing, and then see on my computer what I was doing.
Yeah. And
that was a very big help. I did it all the way through to get to the tool paths and everything. And then I believe the video, if I'm not mistaken, shows you how to mount it to the machine.
That video walks you from start to finish.
Yeah.
Literally, here's your piece of wood.
Yeah.
This is how big it needs to be. And I think I gave the file. No, I didn't. And that one I didn't give a file. I don't think.
No, that was just a regular number. It was just a regular number sign, and all it is a pocket.
Right.
That's all it is a pocket.
So simple.
A simple pocket.
Draw an oval and some numbers. And
Yeah.
put a pocket around.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I made it. In fact, I made it on a nice sized piece of wood, and I did a profile on it. Just made a perfect oval. And that's exactly what I did. I took it that way. I took the laptop right outside to my shop, and I got the wood. I put it on there and did it. Boom. It was done.
Right.
It was done. It was done.
How did you feel after you got through that whole step?
Amazing. But now I knew what to do now. I knew what to do to try to to try to learn it. To try to learn this stuff. It's really what it is.
Now you look back, you say, okay, it took you months before you actually pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But looking back, would you have waited months to pull the trigger?
No.
So what?
No.
You're saying if you're sitting there and you're scared, what would you tell them? If they're going to sit on it for 2 more months, 3 more months?
It's not going to help you. It's not going to help regardless. It doesn't matter if it's 6 months or a week. You're not going to be any further along. You're not going to be any further along. Just get the machine.
I love what Joe just said. So many times we hold ourselves off, and we'll spend a ton of time doing research. We're just afraid to take the plunge. We will figure it out. What Joe said, you're not going to get any further no matter how long you wait until you actually just get the machine. Whatever machine you got your eyes set on, just jump in and you figure it out on the way. There is no perfect time. If you're not sure which CNC router to start off with, I always recommend the Longmill MK2 benchtop machine. It's a very rugged machine. It's got an excellent price point. There's a huge community, and all my videos, or almost all my videos, are done with this machine. So I teach you around the Longmill MK2. I will link that machine down below so you can take a look at their website. You know, at the end of the day, when we're sitting on something for so long, we're kind of stuck until we actually take action. If you want to make a little business out of your CNC router that you're going to be getting, if you get the Longmill MK2, again, I recommend this machine if you're brand new. You can make signs with just words on them. Welcome, love, home. Words sell, and they are very easy projects to make. So you can have a nice little lucrative CNC business just making little signs with words that inspire people. And when you personalize them, now you're taking it to the next level. One sign with the word love carved with somebody's name on it, $80 to $100. Just one little simple piece of wood takes 15 minutes to carve out. $100 for a sign like that. I mean, people will pay it. So just take the plunge. Yeah, go check out the long mill. I got a deep dive review on that machine. I'll link that down below, or whatever other CNC router you want to get. Let's get back to Joe.
Just get it and set it up. Take your time. Take your time. That's one thing. Take your time and learn this stuff. It'll come to you. I'm telling you, I didn't know shit.
Yep.
I didn't know nothing. So and I don't look at it the same way.
Would you consider yourself totally computer illiterate? Or almost?
No, not totally.
Not totally.
Not totally.
But pretty computer illiterate?
Maybe.
Semi.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
All right.
But you don't. Like I said, you don't have to. You don't have to be a computer programmer to work the software.
No, the software is built. Well, you just have to know how to work with it.
That's all it is. That's all it is. You need to know what every icon does, and stuff like that. And you're going to run into problems, and I'm telling you, you're going to scream. But what I've told Garrett in the past is that what I find is that I step back from it. I'll walk away from it. I will leave it alone. I'm like, something's missing. I'm doing something wrong. I'll just walk away from it for just a little while, if not a full day, and then go back out there the next evening after work or whatever and say, okay, let's figure this out.
Right.
Let's go back and figure it out.
Right.
And usually you'll get it.
Yeah, what you said before. When you have a problem, you're just at a point where you just missed a step.
Yes.
And you're frustrated because you don't understand what is missing. We all go through it. And walking away and saying, okay, you gather yourself, you go back and you got a lot more patience, say, okay, let's just kind of redo this. And you'll get it. Promise you'll get it.
Yeah.
So here's a guy that knew nothing. He went with the long mill, MK2. It's the one I recommend. If you get that, I do get a little bit of credit if you use the links in the description. It enables me to buy a burger and a beer, right? So for creating the videos, maybe you can help me out that way. The greatest reward I get is when I see somebody like you not knowing nothing, and then I can, here I'm saying, Joe, check it out. Check out behind you. And you turn around and you look at that path and going, damn, I knew nothing back
That's
there.
right.
And
That's
now
right,
you're now you look at it and like you said, this is my friend now, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're not lying, because I remember you telling me that. You're going to be, you were like, I'm telling you, Joe, in a few months you're going to be you're not going to be afraid of this at all, whatever. And you're 100% right.
All right.
You are.
Yeah.
The videos are out there for a reason. They're out there for a reason. And when you have a creator like Garrett who loves doing this stuff, it's just a fact. You can see that he really wants you to learn. He wants you to be successful and everything. He's gonna put all the info that you need in these videos, and he doesn't leave anything out. So
I try not to.
Yeah, he tries not to. And if there's a question, just leave it in the comments or whatever of whatever video, and he'll answer you.
Yep.
It's I've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, you have, brother. You have.
But it's not as bad as everybody thinks at all. I'm telling you, if I could do what anybody else can. And again, you don't have to know anything about computers. Nothing special. There's nothing special to know about computers at all for the software. In fact, it doesn't have nothing to do with it.
No, it's
at
just
all.
Knowing how the software works.
Yeah. And like you said, now like I said, I'm working with a company now with a spindle to put a nice quiet spindle on my machine now, and
Yes, this totally blows me away. So here's a guy who's totally scared of his machine, and now Long Mill doesn't have a spindle for their machine. They just have the Makita trim router, and a lot of people want to get spindles. And there's a company out there that says they want to put a spindle on a long mill. They sell spindles. They've been able to, like the Shapokos and that, they've been able to get them rigged up, but they couldn't rig it up with the long mill.
Correct.
Joe contacted him. He bought a spindle, and they worked together, and now there's a working spindle for the long mill.
Yep.
This guy is not like a real technical guy.
Nope.
And you learned it. All right, so when it comes to the spindle that you've been working on, helping that company get one set up for the long mill CNC router.
Right.
Now, long mills come with the Makita, right? The Makita is kind of noisy. That's one of the complaints that a lot of people have about the CNCs. relative to spindles. So there's the Makita trim router or other trim routers that the companies put on them. And then there's the air-cooled spindles and water-cooled spindles. So the routers, they're motors. They make noise. Air-cooled spindles, which is what I have on the Phantom over there, that has air blowing through it, and air moving around makes noise.
Yeah.
And then this company that you're working with, they have a water-cooled, and you bought their water-cooled spindle.
Correct.
And they're working with that. So
Yes.
what's the difference in the sound of the trim router that you had on your long mill relative to the water-cooled spindle?
It's like night and day. It's like night and day. With the water-cooled spindle is quieter than the air-cooled. But the cool thing is, with the water-cooled running, while it's running, you can have a conversation literally like this. And all you hear is a whizzing noise. When it's spinning, you'll just hear a zzz. That's all you'll hear.
That's it.
The water-cooled is extremely quiet, and the only noise, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, the only noise that you're hearing, that you will hear, is the end mill cutting through.
Really?
That's what you're going to hear. So you're going to hear it cutting through the wood. But the spindle itself is nothing like this damn thing. I'm telling you.
Just quiet. You and I can be talking like this.
Just like this. And that thing, it just it running alone without cutting.
Yeah.
Without cutting anything. Just it running. Too bad we didn't have one, because we could do the video right here with it running. That's how quiet that thing is. So when I was doing the test run with my spindle, when I was doing the test run, I was on a video call with one of the guys from the company, and he said, "Is it running?" Because we he's like, "Is it running?" I said, "I'm looking at it right now, and it's spinning. It's going." And that was our test run. He goes, "I can't even hear it." And I was using my cell phone, and I was literally sitting in front of it just like we are here. My setup is the same way.
Okay.
Just like this. I was literally right here, and it was right here in the middle. Right here in the middle.
Okay.
And that's all you hear. It's just a zzz, just a whizzing.
All right. So when I have information on that spindle, I will create a video. And especially if you're in the CNC Insiders email list, they will get the know immediately as soon as it's out there.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to say about the spindles is that these are not the Amazon spindles. They will work. They will work on the long mill. They do work, but everything is manual.
Right.
Everything is manual. Okay. Nothing. Those spindles need extra wiring and stuff like that for them to even work with the long mill.
That's the Amazon one?
Yeah, both. Yeah, the water cooled and the air cooled spindles that are on Amazon.
Right.
I don't know how to pronounce them. They're China.
Yeah.
But they are not plug and play. The ones I'm talking about now, it's plug and play. You're gonna plug it in. You're gonna plug it into the longboard, and then it's gonna be controlled through G-Sender. And in fact, we already tested it. It starts up automatically, it sets the speed automatically, and it shuts down automatically too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that now. So
yeah,
I'm going to put one on here. Now the non-technical guy got all technical and helped the company figure it out. Yeah. Dude, I mean, holy shit.
But I like that kind of stuff, because it's going to benefit. My whole thing is that not only did it benefit me, but it's going to benefit everybody else out there who has a long mill and wants to put a spindle on their machine. I'm telling you, when they say plug and play, when that company tells you plug and play, it's going to be. You're only hooking up a couple things, and they're all, I believe they call it those aircraft connectors, and stuff like that. And it's going to be plug and play. That's all it is.
I will inform people about it, right, through a video. And CNC Insiders, that's the email list I have. I'll send an email out to them too. If you're not on the CNC Insiders, you probably want to get on it, because I got a ton of tips that come to you in email, some special discounts that I've been able to acquire that I don't make public on the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. So I'll link that down below if you want to get on that email list. And right in the beginning of that email list, the very first email, you now get what I call a Kickstarter guide. And it's I put this, it's a 20-page guide that helps the beginner, tells you everything you need. Leave this with you to share whatever you want to share with our potential creator who's watching this right now. What would you tell our brother or sister if they're sitting on the
You can do it. You can do this. It's not it's not hard. Okay? Because I was there not that long ago. I was there, and you just got to do it. That's the only way to explain it.
What's the feeling you have when now that you can create stuff? What's the feeling you got inside that you've kind of jumped the hurdle and you kind of grip them?
Fantastic, because I've already made flags.
Okay.
I've already made them.
I've already
made them.
Okay.
I've already made flags. Just to learn. Really, they were just to learn to see if I could do it. And I'm the type of person now. What I'll do is now I tweak everything. If I see something's not right, or I want to add or subtract or whatever to it, I'm at that point now because I saved the file. You learn how to do all that stuff and everything. So I saved everything. So now when I want to make my flag, I go in there, find it, put it in there. I put it into to V-carve there, and I've already done flags.
Right.
I've already done some of them, and then when you start adding to the flags, like you bring in an image, I put that on the flag. Mm-hmm. I've already done that.
Have you made things and given them to other people now? That like personalized? Have you reached that point yet?
Yeah, I made a sign. I made something for my daughter when she graduated nursing school.
Okay. This is the beauty of CNC, right? Because for people our age, we're at that point. It's like, I'm getting retired. People are going to forget me. I need my legacy, right? We want our kids to remember us, our grandkids to remember us. Yeah, we want to make our mark in the world. This is the last chance, and this is like the opportunity to do that. That sign I made the other day for Sarah. Mm-hmm. Sarah's my girlfriend. Right?
That's a beautiful sign. So if anybody sees that video, you'll see what he's talking about.
She put it in her garden, right? In her flower garden.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes. So, how good that feels to be able to make something personalized like that.
Yeah.
And give it to somebody. And that was such a simple project. It looks awesome, but it's so simple to make.
Very simple.
That was so simple to make.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's the meaning behind it and what people receive. That's the ultimate reward.
Right.
Is when we give something to somebody else.
But the thing is that you're going to be able, you're going to learn how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we're talking about, the newcomers are going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
It's not as daunting as you would think. It really isn't.
Right.
The only thing I could do is do recommendations, like I said before, that I got from you. Download the software first. They got a trial. They have a trial version of it.
Free trial.
Yeah, free
Just
trial.
Remember, you can't run your machine with the free trial. It's just
No, you can't.
Experiment. All right.
No, you can't.
But what I'll say at the end of the day, I have that Kickstarter guide. So it'll tell you everything you need to know right up front as you're going on your journey anyway. Yeah. What machines I recommend and why. It'll lead you to videos like the long mill, or if you want to get a little more robust, like the Phantom CNC router over there, the big blue I call it.
Yeah.
The router bits, the design software, it leads you through all my videos. So you want to get that Kickstarter guide, and now we'll get you going. But at the end of the day, get off the fence.
Yeah.
It's a lot less stressful to get off the fence than it is sitting on that fence.
Yeah, it is. So, and another project I already made, I wanted to make it for myself, was an ashtray.
Yeah.
I made an ashtray already. And then now my daughter wants me to make another ashtray for her girlfriend's boyfriend for her birthday, for his birthday this month. So I'm trying to figure that out now. What's a good, wood to use, and, but not only that, it's not going to be just the ashtray. I'm going to put his name at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just V-carve his name at the bottom of the ashtray, and maybe I'm gonna try this with epoxy.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I am in no place right now to be messing with epoxy at all.
Talk to our CNC sister, Kate.
Kate.
Yep.
I already know. I've already talked to Kate. Hi, Kate, if you're watching this.
Joe just mentioned someone named Kate. Kate Tucker is someone who is somewhat associated with IDC Woodcraft. She is a CNC sister creator, and we do live shows on YouTube every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kate is a master with the epoxy stuff, and that's why Joe reached out to her. But she also makes herself available to you. Kate also started her own little thing, Women Who CNC. Since us guys and women tend to talk different languages, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, women tend to need their own group where they can work together. And so Women Who CNC is a Facebook group. If you're a female creator looking to get into this, then down below in the description, I will put Kate's group link down there and her contact information. And check out her website, womenwhocnc.com. She's got some stuff that you may be interested as well. And that's for everybody. She recommends her epoxy products and is developing stuff to help you move along in that area. When it comes to IDC Woodcraft, and Joe, what we are telling you is most CNC companies out there don't really provide a lot of information, resources for you, especially router bit companies. But here at IDC Woodcraft, I know that you are someone who needs that help to get you through the entire journey. And so IDC Woodcraft is based on that. And so there's so many resources that I have put together for you to help get you going. So you want to make sure you subscribe to this channel, but also get on the CNC Insiders list. And get that that guide, the Kickstarter guide. We want to get you going the right way, the right kind of training. Joe is the icon of this whole thing of going from nothing to getting somewhere and making very cool projects.
But yeah, she already recommended a good brand of epoxy, so I'm going to try to maybe with his name color it, and then I'll do the bottom of the ashtray with a clear epoxy and something like that. I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not afraid of it. It's just
it's new. It's just like getting a router. You don't know how to work with it.
Yeah.
That's why you go to the masters, right? You go to the
No
matter what we do, you always have to have a teacher. You have to have a mentor to guide you through it until you grab hold of it. The reason I wanted to make this interview for you is be someone who's, do I do this or do I not do this? Now you've heard it from somebody else who's gone through the journey, right? And was afraid and decided to go for it anyway. And 3 months, you didn't buy that machine, but you're like, do I do it?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And I was scared to death, honest to God, because this isn't something you could just buy and return.
Right.
This isn't buying something and then returning it. This is a big investment.
Yeah.
But it'll a lifetime investment, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Being on the fence though is kind of stressful because there's that part that's pulling you over and there's that part that's pulling you back.
Oh, I was pulled left and right with this machine. Yeah. I believe it or not, I would lay awake at night sometimes. Be any better 3, 6, or months from now? It's not going to change. It's just not going to change. Just
until you make
just do it. Yeah, just do it. I mean, and I know, the price might get you, but in the long run, once you start making things and you find your niche. I think I pronounced it right. Like you say, start making money off this machine, and you'll make that money back.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't.
But you'll get there.
Oh yeah, like we talked about, like with the spindle and all this other stuff, and I just want to get good. I just want to get good at designing and creating stuff. I'm not gonna, I'm probably no different than a lot of other people. You're not gonna half-ass it,
right?
And I'm not doing that.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we all want at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like to think that once you buy it, we cry, we're scared of the price, but the years of enjoyment you're going to have out of that offsets that price.
Oh, please. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were the one. I mean, there is, if people are out there shopping, when you're on the Long Mills website, yeah, there is a price difference between the 30 by 30 and the 48. Garrett told me, because I was not going to get the 48. I thought it would be too big. The little bit price difference. But Garrett said, Joe, just get the bigger one. And he's 100% right, because you don't want to be caught, when you need you need to make a bigger project, and now you can't do it because you didn't get the bigger machine.
Yeah.
Get it now. And it's also not hard to put together. It's not hard to put together at all. No. Actually, it was fun. I enjoyed putting my long mill together. I know there was a couple times where it was a real pain in the ass, but I actually enjoyed it. Yeah. Honest to God. My table was already made and everything, and I set it all on the table and just took my time and put it together. I mean, that's another thing. The guys from Long Mill have like I believe it's a 5-part video, assembly video for the machine.
Yeah. And their on-screen instructions are perfect. So I mean they really did a good job.
Yeah.
But okay, well, this is the third time we'll go into the wrap-up phase.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So this time we'll make it for real. At the end of the day, just take the jump, right? And get that Kickstarter guide. It'll help you. One of the things that many people struggle with is there's not clear path to follow, and that's why I created that Kickstarter guide.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'll link that down below. I'll link Long Mill's website down below. I'll link everything we've talked about down below in the description of this video. And he's active in the Facebook groups too.
Yes.
So you can find Joe Lazaro at CNC Entrepreneurs. He's in the Long Mill Facebook group. He's on a couple forums, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a guy that didn't know shit is now active helping other people. All right.
Yeah, doing the best I can. Yeah.
All right. We are going to check out. Thank you, Joe, for
thank you, buddy,
taking some time to talk to my brother and sister.
You're very welcome. Anything I could do to help.
Yeah.
Anything I could do to help somebody out.
All right. Okay. We will talk to you later. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. This is our CNC brother, Joe. Get the machine, start making. idcwoodcraft.com